All right, welcome back to the break. She said something that is not very nice, but we want to take you to Milimani Courts where Sam Ogina is. Good morning, Sam Ogina. Of course, we've woken up to the story of the moving of CS Rotich and his court suspects to the Milimani Courts. Have you been able to see them? And even as we wait for the court process to begin, what do we know?
Well, Gitukwa, the Milimani Courts, of course, we are waiting for the courtroom actually to open. That is the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Henry Rotich, and his Principal Secretary, Kamau Thugge, already here. They were brought here very early in the morning, of course, from, that is the DCI offices from KIMWARER Road. And so they are at a holding cell as they wait to appear before that is courtroom number 1, where they're going to face 8 charges. Among the charges is abuse of office, willful, or better yet, publishing a document that is not false document for that matter, and of course trying to defraud government. And of course what we know is that they are facing allegations of corruption allegations, whereby the DPP says it was the massive corruption heist ever in the country in the recent past, given that that is the KIMWARER and ARROR dams were supposed to cost around 46 billion shillings, but Treasury negotiated for 69 billion shillings, and thereby saying that at least 17 billion shillings over and above what was initially planned for. Of course, these are some of the charges that the 28 officials are going to face, officials from Treasury, officials from even the National Environmental Agency, that is NEMA, and of course even officials from Kerio Valley Development Authority, KVDA, given that KVDA was actually the client for the ARROR and KIMWARER dams. And just behind me, actually, as you can see, is actually a beehive of activities. Reason being, they're actually supporters who have come here to witness what will be transpiring here today. And of course, given that the courtroom is not yet opened, so the corridors, people are milling within the corridors of justice here just to await for the official opening, and of course preference of charges against these officials who will be here today any moment from now, or once that is the courtroom actually opens. And maybe just to take you through some of these charges. There are 8 in total, and I've just mentioned abuse of office. And of course, there's also, if I can't go through my notes, conspiracy to defraud the Kenyan government, and of course, willful failure to comply with applicable laws and procedures in procurement, engaging in a project that did not, without prior planning, that is the KIMWARER and ARROR dams. And of course, the reason why this charge is here is because these particular dams, the 2 of them, as much as money was being budgeted for, and of course money being paid, even the ground zero where the projects are supposed to be placed really, or to be constructed, even the fields or that particular forest within Elgeyo Marakwet County had not been seeded by the KWS, that is Kenya Wildlife Services, because this is where this project was supposed to be undertaken. And of course, that is why these officials will be charged with undertaking a project without prior planning, abuse of office, of course I mentioned that, financial misconduct, fraudulent acquisition of public property, and giving misleading document. Of course, saying that at least 19 billion shillings had been paid, money that cannot actually be traced to the project, and money that cannot be traced to the ground, given that nothing has actually happened on ground zero, nothing has actually happened on the ground. There is no breaking of ground, there is no any construction going on site, and at least 19 billion shillings already sunk and cannot be accounted for that matter. And this is money that was wired from the Kenyan government, and according to the DPP and the DCI, money can be traced all the way to Dubai, Italy, and the United Kingdom, and some of it on allegations that actually found its way back into the country in form of kickbacks. So all these are some of the charges that are going to be read out today to the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Henry Rotich, his principal secretary. There is Kamau Thugge, officials from KVDA, officials from the East Africa Community and Regional Development, given that the principal secretary, Susan Koech, is also among those who will be presented here today any moment from now. So we'll be waiting to see how this pans out, and of course being one of the biggest and most awaited corruption case ever, given the DPP and the DCI onslaught on investigating corruption cases, as it were. Gituku?
All right, Sam, and obviously a list of 28 inclusive of those two institutions. Do you expect that Henry Rotich will have to wait for the other suspects, or will he be charged formally on his own as the case continues?
Well, remember that Rotich actually presented himself yesterday to the DCI, and alongside also his principal secretary presented himself as well. A number of officials have already been arrested, including that is the NEMA boss, Geoffrey Wahungu. So given that they face the same charges, 8 charges in total, and given that they are actually involved in this particular project from the onset, so we'll be waiting to see if all of them, the ones who are actually present today, will be read of their charges collectively, or if at all there will be an application by the prosecution to await other officers or officials who have not been arrested to actually be arrested or present themselves, so that they have a collective charge and actually take a collective plea for this particular case. So that is something that we are waiting to see, but already officials who presented themselves and those who are arrested yesterday are present here. But of course, those who did not, or rather who have not been arrested or did not present themselves, that is an application that we will await to see from the prosecution on the way forward, essentially.
Right. Well, Sam, you've been on this case for just a minute longer. Very quickly, how do you see what do you see the court doing in terms of handling this case? Because previously they have been warned, they've warned the DPP and the DCI not to come with a list that is too long. Here is another list, 28 individuals and companies as well as in that list. What strategy do you think the courts will use?
Well, that would be quite speculative of me to try and delve into such a matter, because we know this is now a court process, and court process have their own procedures, and it is actually upon the judge to present or actually give the way forward on how to handle this particular case, because the prerogative of the prosecution is actually to present their case, and from there then it's actually a procedure or a process that now will have to follow the due course of the law, and of course even the judge himself will have to pronounce himself on such a matter. Zinzi?